Hi, Shelby Joe Long here with the Genius Entrepreneur Podcast, where I have the opportunity to talk to business owners about a business that they've created around their genius or around what they have to offer the world so they can make a bigger impact in society. Today, I have the opportunity to talk to Ben Rodgers, and Ben has created this amazing program inspired by something that was probably not the most inspirational part of his life, but he's hoping to make an impact with others. So, Ben, I'm excited that you're here at the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. Can you just introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what you do, and what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, I have created, like you were mentioning, because of an unfortunate situation that I've lived with over the last 10 years. I have created what's called the Alienated Parents Support Network. And it's basically to help families get through a high conflict divorce and how that affects the kids, even if one parent thinks they're protecting the kids or doing what's right for the kids, they may not be. And so everybody knows somebody that this is happening to, and it's a pretty dark situation. Again, it's a very unfortunate situation, and it's all about protecting the kids.
Yeah, it's I know you don't need to go into too much detail about it, but it sounds like it's been a big part of your life and a big part of your involvement in the past 10 years. Is that correct?
Changed everything.
Yeah.
I never saw it coming, and most people don't.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more? I mean, you've been involved with the community. There are communities out there that are pretty disparate. Can you talk about how many people experience this, or are there any numbers or statistics around that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. According to the experts, there are around 22 million people in the United States alone, but this is happening worldwide in
Yeah.
every country. It's basically a corrupt family court system where the more mom and dad fight, the more money the attorneys and the judges and the therapists and the law enforcement, the more money they make, the
Mhm.
more that mom and dad fight. So there's really no incentive for them to fix the problem.
Right. Right. So 22 million people, that's a lot. Do you think that's underreported?
Very much so.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Well, like I experienced, there's really no professional help available. The courts and the attorneys and the therapists, there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of controversy around what people commonly call parental alienation. It's been around for a long, long time. That's what my class is about,
Mhm.
the awareness and prevention of this. And there's a lot of advocates and support groups who are trying to bring awareness to this and stop it. At the same time, there's a lot of people and professionals that don't recognize what's going on and call it junk science. Well, it's not junk because I experienced it firsthand, and I've got a story to share with everybody that is pretty alarming. Um, it really comes down to child psychological abuse. There's lots of help for cuts and bruises. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Physical and sexual violence, there's a ton of help available for that. But when it comes to psychological abuse, what parents do to their kids behind closed doors is private. And there's really not a good way until this class has been developed and that's what I've done, is put the pieces of the puzzle together to make sure that everybody is identified correctly, held accountable, the children are protected, people like me are protected, things like that.
Sure. Sure. That's a gosh, it's such, you and I have been talking for the past couple of months. It's such a challenging topic because it's behind closed doors and it's something that people don't see. And then it becomes a he said versus she said. And, it's really challenging. So I commend you for doing this. So talk a little bit about this. So this parental alienation, talk a little bit more about your group that you're putting together. Because I know you're putting together a group. Talk about that and how that can help either that provides an additional resource for people or it provides something different that's already out there.
Yeah, because there's so many pieces of the puzzle, it's kind of like having a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle with no picture on the box to see what you're supposed to put together. It's really complicated. And even the experts will tell you it takes special training to figure out how this works, right? Even licensed professionals, they don't see it and they don't get it. A little bit about me. I'm not a doctor or a therapist or an attorney. I am what's called a target parent. And I've been dealing with this for over 10 years of my lived experience. I have not had contact with my kids for over 5 years. It's heartbreaking. And during that time, I have worked with the leading experts. We created a continuing education class, Introduction to Parental Alienation. It is actually certified by the American Psychological Association. Therapists can take this class and get continuing education credits. Earlier this year, I was one of the speakers at a mental health symposium. And currently, I'm being sponsored by 2 nonprofits to promote this class. A little bit more about me. I've never harmed anyone. I have no criminal record. I never cheated on my ex-wife, the mother of our 2 kids. I had a great relationship with my kids and my family before the divorce. I never missed a child support payment in 10 years. It broke. It took everything from me, basically. I have no psychological or psychiatric disorders whatsoever. I genuinely love my kids and my family. So by all standards and measures, I'm a pretty good father and a person.
Yeah.
And
It's heartbreaking.
Here's what has happened. And if it can happen to me, it can happen to you, whoever's listening. I had basically 6 judges and 10 therapists were involved in this whole divorce proceeding over a period of time. And they put a restraining order on me for 3 years, no contact with my kids whatsoever. Couldn't even tell them happy birthday or Merry Christmas for 3 years. They forced me to get 2 psychological evaluations, cost me thousands of dollars. They didn't even look at them. It's a complete waste of money. I've been accused of being a child abuser, batshit crazy, abandoning my kids, and that I belong in jail. So,
Oh, it's heartbreaking, Ben.
They have said it's unequivocally my fault to change my behavior and to get rid of my evidence. That's what it's like.
It's just heartbreaking. I just can't imagine not being able to see my kids. And, I've got 2 young kids of my own. I can't imagine being in that spot. Where are you have you still not seen them in a while?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I had a brief reconnection with my son, and that ended when mom got involved.
Oh, man. So clearly it's something that's affected your life and turned your life upside down, and it's traumatic what you've been through. So I just commend you for still moving forward and still wanting to make an impact in this space. But why this class?
Well, this class brings together all the pieces of the puzzle. So it would give therapists, judges, attorneys, schools, families, everybody a comprehensive understanding. Nobody else provides a comprehensive solution to child psychological abuse. There's no help available. And it covers everything from the root problem. Like, why would one parent teach their kids to hate the other parent? It doesn't make any sense, or does it? Right? There's a reason for it. And how the program also talks about how to diagnose the problem correctly. I'm not a doctor. I didn't create the models. I didn't create the different, I didn't identify the strategies that parents are using. I didn't come up with the symptoms to look for in the child to see if they're being abused, right? I just found it and I worked with the experts, and now I'm putting it all together. And the last thing, of course, there is some good news, is that there is a treatment plan available, and all of this stuff can be prevented.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not prevented, it really causes long-term permanent damage to the kids because they're basically fatherless or motherless. And everybody knows that that's not good for a child to be fatherless,
Right.
especially when I'm not a bank robbing crackhead that deserves to be estranged from my kids, right? I don't deserve this, but it's
No.
happening. So yeah, it in all, it's designed, this program is to help protect your children from depression, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, relationship issues. People don't want to talk about this issue, but that's exactly what's happening to me and my kids at this very moment.
Well, I certainly hope that there is going to be a corner that's turned pretty soon where you have the opportunity to be with your kids. I don't know how that's going to happen, whether that's with the ex-wife or whatever that is, but I hope there is light at the end of the tunnel. Is
I
what I
appreciate it very much.
Yes.
Got to
Because
stay positive.
gotta stay positive. And I think it's such an incredible feat that you want to help others be able to get past this too, because this is challenging for you to talk about. And so I talk about genius entrepreneurs. This is a genius of yours, but it's this awful experience that you've had, and the fact that you're taking that awful experience and trying to help others is truly commendable. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. I will say the leading experts who are doctors and therapists, they're really prevented from saying what they should be saying. They have to be very careful not to go outside their scope of competence. And what I can do is I can talk about things outside of my quote unquote scope of competence or my knowledge because I don't have a license to worry about.
Right.
And so I can say things that a doctor or a therapist or an attorney or whoever can't say because they can get in trouble for talking about delusional behaviors or cults or hostage taking and things like that. I can talk about that, and that's what I bring to the course is that, a comprehensive solution to the problem.
So tell people if they're interested in it, tell people how they can find this course, find this group. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so every Monday night at 6 o'clock Central, I'm hosting a free 1 hour workshop. This is a general overview of the pieces of the puzzle as they start to come together. Again, this takes specialized training. You're not gonna get it fully in 1 hour.
Right.
So I do have a more detailed training program, but that's going to take several hours to do that. For right now, I'm just inviting everybody in for Monday night workshops to get some of the basic information to try to help out.
And it's live or is it on Zoom or are you going to do both?
It's live on Zoom.
Live on Zoom. Okay, great. And where can people connect with you to be able to find out this information and find the Zoom link?
They can scan. I have a flyer and there's a barcode that they can scan and just get right in there.
Okay. And where is that posted on your LinkedIn and your YouTube channel? Can we find it there? Because that's where people can connect with you.
Yes, it's on the YouTube channel and my website.
Okay, perfect. And I'll be sure to include your website in the show notes so we all have access to it. So
Okay.
when is the course going to launch?
As soon as we get some people interested, I'm
Yep.
ready to teach.
You're ready to teach. You got it all ready to go.
It's all ready.
You're ready to start this awareness and create this solution or at least tackle this issue because it's a very sticky and complex one.
Yeah, the detailed training course is called CPAP, Child Psychological Abuse Awareness and Prevention.
Well, I hope that you have inspired some people to join you and to be in this fight and to be in this support group and to make their move and navigation through a sticky divorce a little bit easier. So, in all in protection of the kids.
It really is designed for high conflict divorces. If it's a low conflict divorce and mom and dad are basically doing what they need to raise the kids, they may not get along with everything, but they're managing. That's not what this course is all about.
Yeah.
This is for the high conflict divorces. And another thing that people will learn is either you have parental alienation or you don't. And there's a model to go by to make sure that everything is being diagnosed correctly.
Yeah.
And so all the naysayers out there, come and join the class and see what, not you, but see what they're missing. That's the whole point.
Well, it's amazing that you're providing this awareness and this opportunity for people. So thank you for that. And Monday nights, and we'll look for your profile on LinkedIn and YouTube, and I'll be sure to include that in the show notes too. So is there anything else that you should let the audience know before we sign off?
I don't think so. I just want people to be aware that this domestic violence is happening right under our noses.
Yeah.
And so if you're not familiar with it, or you just want to learn, or you know somebody that's might be going through this, it's a great class to sign up for.
100%. Well, thank you, Ben, for coming on the interview today and talking about this really challenging experience and being so vulnerable and to the audience so they can understand this condition that might be happening right under our nose. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'll get everybody in the show notes. And to all you genius entrepreneurs out here, there's a reminder that genius comes from your experience too. It comes from what you've been through. And when you've been through something challenging and you've learned something from that challenge, that's a gift that you can give others. And Ben just showed us that today. So Ben, thank you again for coming on the interview and talking about this cause that is so dear to your heart. So thank you. And
Thank you for having me.
of course, and to all you genius entrepreneurs out there, or potential genius entrepreneurs out there, what is stopping you from starting a movement, or starting a cause, or starting a business, or starting a podcast around a cause that you care about? Nothing should stop you. So we'll see you next time for some more inspiration.